In a startling turn of events, a wild wolf forcefully burst through the hospital's entrance, unleashing a palpable shockwave that rippled through the corridors. The appearance of this fearsome creature plunged both staff and patients into a state of frantic disarray. Nurses hastily scattered, seeking refuge from the formidable presence of the wolf, and among them was a young nurse named Laura. Her wide-eyed, trembling countenance bore witness as the wolf patrolled the hospital, its fierce gaze cutting through the chaos like a razor. Amidst the pandemonium, Laura discerned an extraordinary detail. The wolf clutched something within its jaws. Recognizing the unusual circumstances, she endeavored to soothe the mounting panic, drawing attention to the fact that the wolf was carrying an object that didn't belong to its species, a small creature of some kind. Hospital security promptly initiated an evacuation, prioritizing the safety of all within, unwilling to jeopardize anyone in the presence of the wild intruder. Laura, guided by an unwavering resolve, chose to take matters into her own hands, recognizing this as her singular opportunity to truly make a difference. With unyielding determination, she successfully confined the wolf and its small companion in a secure room. However, the wolf's demeanor swiftly shifted to aggression, prompting it to lunge menacingly at Laura. Undaunted, she instinctively assumed a non-threatening posture, conveying her intent to assist. In her heart, she knew that the wolf was in dire need of her care or that of a skilled veterinarian. Laura was in luck, and the wolf seemed to calm down. Then Laura decided to seek help from a willing doctor. All the doctors seemed very reluctant to help Laura. She pleaded with them to just follow her. They told her that they had called animal control to remove the wolf from the hospital. She finally found a close friend of hers and a good surgeon who was willing to go with her to see what was going on. When they got close to the room, they heard howling. The wolf seemed to get very concerned about the well-being of the small creature. There seemed to be a strong connection between the creature and the wolf. Laura tried to get closer, but the wolf instantly showed her teeth. Laura quickly realized that this wasn't going to be easy. She didn't know what to do. Laura didn't give up, and by some miracle, the wolf only let her get closer to the creature. Laura didn't know what to do. She had no clue what the creature could be, but it seemed very weak. Laura knew that they needed to bring in an animal expert, preferably a veterinarian. However, the nearest one was still pretty far away. She instantly got a hold of the veterinarian, and when she explained the situation, the vet was instantly silent. For several seconds, no response came. Laura had the feeling that something was very wrong. He asked Laura to describe the creature for him. He had absolutely no idea what it was and how to help it, but he realized that it was getting weaker by the minute. The wolf suddenly started howling as if it realized something was wrong. Laura recognized that there was something more about it. The wolf suddenly seemed really on edge. Then some police officers burst into the room to check if everyone was all right. She told them to back off. Then the wolf did something unexpected. The wolf walked towards the door. It looked like it wanted Laura to follow him. Laura had no clue what was going on, but a sense of urgency was in the air and Laura couldn't ignore the wolf. She followed the wolf outside. It seemed to be heading towards the forest. She calls a friendly animal expert from the local animal sanctuary to tell her where she is heading. He urges her against blindly following the wolf. Laura starts hesitating. She shares her live location with Alan. She can't wait for Alan to show up and decides to head into the dense forest with the wolf guiding her. The deeper they get into the forest, the more anxious Laura gets. She feels like she is being watched. Laura is on edge and almost against it when she hears a loud noise. She then realizes she is getting a call from someone. She picks up the phone, but she almost has no signal. She hears the vet on the other side stuttering. It vaguely sounds like he urges her to go back. Laura knows it is an urgent call. The wolf is staring at her in desperation. Laura starts to doubt her choices. Should she go towards the noises, or should she decide to back off now? Laura decides to muster all of her courage to keep on following the noises. She senses she is close. She feels a shiver down her spine when the forest starts to get denser. This time she is certain that someone is close to her. She definitely knows she is being watched now. Then she turns pale when she hears a voice in the distance shouting at her. Due to the adrenaline, Laura doesn't recognize the voice, but when she looks up, she realizes it is Alan, who luckily caught up to her. The wolf doesn't know who Alan is and starts to charge towards him. Laura realizes what is going on and throws herself in between the wolf and Alan. Right before impact, the wolf stops its attack. Laura sighs in relief. The wolf seems to realize Alan is there to help. It turns around again and hints that both Laura and Alan should be following now. Alan was so shocked about the sudden charge that he fell down and asks Laura what exactly is going on. Laura tells him that she has absolutely no idea about the gravity of the situation or what they are chasing. Alan follows closely behind Laura when he picks up the distressed noises as well. The sounds are getting increasingly louder with every step they take toward them. Finally, they get to the source of the noises. They realize they come from down an old well. Something probably fell down the well. The wolf hints at the fact that this is where he wants Laura and Alan to help. It is really dark inside the well. They can't see anything. However, they definitely know that there is something down there. They hear it. By a stroke of luck, Alan had brought some rope with him. He tells Laura that it is strong enough to hold him so he can rappel down. Laura is hesitant. This could go very wrong. She feels like she isn't strong enough. Alan takes a deep breath and lets himself go over the edge while Laura grabs the rope tightly. Alan rappels down. Then Laura panics while the rope slips away from him. The rope isn't tied well enough around her waist, and she suddenly hears Alan scream in a loud noise. He grabs the phone and activates the flashlight. Then he finally realizes what was making the noise. Alan points the flashlight toward the noises and sees more of these tiny animals. He shouts to Laura what he sees. She realizes that the one in the hospital was not the only one. After approximately 15 minutes of effort, Alan successfully brought all the animals up to the surface. There they found themselves facing a total of 5 creatures, and the next challenge was to transport them safely to the hospital. Alan and Laura could only manage to carry 2 each, leaving them with 1 more to figure out. However, they soon realized that the wolf too could serve as a carrier for one of the animals. With a sense of urgency, they gathered up the animals and swiftly began their journey. Upon arriving at the hospital, they were instructed to surrender the animals and wait in the waiting room adjacent to the operating room. There they were explicitly advised not to attempt to enter the room under any circumstances. After a period of anxious anticipation, the veterinarian finally opened the door and invited them inside. He informed them that their timely intervention had indeed saved the animals. Laura turned to the vet, her curiosity piqued, and asked for an explanation. As it turned out, these animals were a rare crossbreed between a wild dog and a wolf. The mystery of how they had ended up in the well remained unsolved. Laura strongly advocated against releasing them back into the wild. Instead, she insisted they find a safe haven for the creatures. Fortunately, Alan had connections with the local animal sanctuary, and they had space available for these unique animals. In the days that followed, Laura regularly visited the wolf and its pups, and over time, the animals began to recognize her and Alan. In return, they showered her with affection. Laura couldn't help but feel a profound sense of satisfaction for having conquered her fears and followed the wolf into the forest on that fateful day to rescue these remarkable creatures.